Data migration advanced. It's not about transforming data. It's about transforming business. Most data migration projects deal with one or more source systems and the need to move data to a target system. Migrations usually arise as part of mergers or acquisitions or upgrading systems or software. And when you consider what is involved, there are several levels of focus. First, there's the base, physical layer, the move. This is how we move. There are the actions involved in transferring the digital data from their current location in the source to the new location in the target. And this is commonly referred to as like lift and shift. And in some rare cases, this may be all that's involved. But while to the uninformed this might appear to be the core of the migration, it's really only the beginning. There's the relative layer, the connections. This is the what we move. Within every system, individual data elements have relationships with other data elements. A person's name, their address, and credit information, while separate, are all related. Understanding these relations and respecting them throughout the migration process is a necessary component for business success. Now, many companies who offer migration solutions and services focus entirely on addressing the physical and relative layers. And this usually results in a fair representation of the current state in the source to that of the new target system. But we don't believe that's enough. You see, there's another layer, what we call the cognitive layer, that contains the knowledge that truly transforms your business. This is the why we move. For instance, you can imagine that while addressing the physical and relative move tasks, your team will be called upon to make decisions and define rules to govern the data as it moves. In the case of a merger, the way one system defines a customer might differ from the other. A decision will need to be made as to how a customer is to be defined in the new target system. If one is only interested in the physical and relative, you will only look for the final decision, the resulting migration rule. But as you can imagine, this is a multidisciplinary discussion. You're going to have executive sponsors, project managers, line of business experts, data stewards, developers, and IT, all involved in this process. They not only define the rule, they determine the reason. And from the cognitive perspective, there's a significant value in capturing the knowledge of these interactions. Who was involved? What was defined? What business reason was behind the decision? And how might this impact the target system and the new capabilities? All these insights are assets that should be captured. And if you think a little ahead, you'll see how, if captured, how these could be reused. For instance, a future user of the target system may question a data element definition. What does customer mean? And if that knowledge was captured and is easily accessible from their application, it would assist them in making better business decisions. So you can see how future data projects could also be jump-started by having a base of data knowledge at the ready to be incorporated immediately into their efforts. There's no need for spending valuable resources when a question has already been answered. And to further illustrate our investment in this belief, you can probably imagine that a significant portion of most enterprise data systems are somewhat common. Address to address, name to name, SKU to SKU, you get the idea. And during our 20-plus years of experience across 3,500 global projects, we've accumulated a great deal of knowledge that we've embedded into the software you would be using. That correlates to having the answers to a large majority of questions and the alleviation of the subsequent writing of rules for up to 80% of your data elements you might encounter. By applying our knowledge, your project begins by automatically addressing the common concerns and allows you to spend your time on the more valuable and differentiated data decisions. In other words, we take the mundane so you can focus on the meaningful. So you see, while you might find some level of immediate success with a migration focused on the physical and relative, unless you leverage the more advanced cognitive aspect, you'll have invested a great deal of effort and not capture the knowledge that can be used and should be used to leverage and transform your business. Remember, this is not about transforming data, it's about transforming your business. We're Syniti. We'll show you how.